Hey everybody, my name is Ashley Rush and I am an independent creative memories advisor located in North Carolina. Today I am coming out with another, I forgot, what did I call this series? I don't know, but it's a series where I take a look at our 110 scrapbook ideas and sketches. I flip through, I find one, and I try my best to recreate it using current product. So it's a lot of fun. You guys seem to like it. I don't know what I'm doing quite yet, but I'm sure it'll be great, and I really hope you guys like it. I mentioned how to get I mentioned how to get your hands on a copy of this at the beginning of the video, I hope, and then I'll re-mention it at the end. Alright guys, enjoy! So before I get started, let's talk about how I found my inspiration. I pulled out the 110 scrapbooking ideas and sketches. This was originally given as a promo. I have a few extra copies laying around that I'm giving to people who join my team. So I knew I wanted to use the new Cue the Blue collection, and I wasn't sure how I was going to do it. It's a lot of blue, obviously, because it's called Cue the Blue. So I thought I would pull out my sketchbook and just start flipping the pages until I saw something that was very monochromatic. Not necessarily blue, but a lot of the same tones in the page. Gotta love that squeaky turn with the spiral there. So I was turning, looking for something. I knew there was a lot of blues here, but it's very nautical. Wasn't sure that that is exactly what I was looking for. I am getting lots and lots and lots of ideas for use the scraps videos as I'm turning. So I just kept going until I landed on this photo right here. Now, this sketch is 2 to 3 photos, and not monochromatic at all, but what caught my eye was the use of the petal frame punch in the sketch. And I was like, petal frame is gonna work the same as our cloud frame punch. So that's when I decided, yep, I'm gonna do this. This is the sketch I want to use. So that was on page 30 of the sketchbook. Which means now I'm using my 12-inch trimmer, my tape runner as usual, some Cue the Blue papers, and then my cloud frame punch. I'm also going to introduce some cardstock here. I've got a selection, sort of depending on which papers I choose. Here I have white, platinum shimmer, navy. For whatever reason, I don't have light blue in my collection yet, so I'm using up some old cloud. I figured of the 4 of these, something will match. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to select 2 to 3 pieces of paper. I want to have a bit of contrast in them. I want to make sure they go well together. Originally, I'm very drawn to this sheet here and this sheet here, but I think I just had an idea. What if I did these 2 sheets? I think that could be a lot of fun. So I'm going to pull those, and then maybe I'll keep this guy as an extra. Is that too much? I don't know. I'll have him as an extra. Not sure if I'll use him. I'm gonna put the other sheets away, but you guys know me, my prerogative. Sometimes I like to change my mind, so there's a good chance I'll be doing that in a bit. So based on this, these 2 being my main colors, let me choose a base. Between the shimmer and the navy, we'll have to play it by ear, see what works. We'll go ahead and start the rest of the process and then just come back. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take this sort of dark striped distressed navy paper. And I'm gonna cut that down to 11 by 11. So I'm gonna take my trimmer. I'm going to make a 1-inch cut. Set that strip aside. I've got quite a few strips in my blue pile at this point. I'm going to give the paper a 1/4 turn. I'm moving that back over to the 1-inch so I can give it another 1-inch cut. Another strip of paper. So now I have an 11 by 11 inch square. The next thing I'm going to do, this one is very unscientific, okay guys? Super unscientific. I am just cutting a corner off the paper, and my cut is, I'm just sort of catty-cornered my paper. I do not want a 45-degree cut. I don't want like a right, perfect isosceles triangle. I'm kind of going for the scalene look. Look at me busting out my knowledge of geometry. So I'm just kind of turning this a little catty corner. And I need to make sure that when I put this guy down, he can still cut. That's a little big. So maybe even just like scooting my paper here. I've got the bottom point right along the edge. And I'm gonna just tilt that until it allows me to close this easily. Sure. Again, super unscientific. I've turned it so that this corner is at the edge, and it's turned enough so that this piece fits underneath and allows the arm to close. Oh, you guys can't see that. So I have done it so that the piece of paper at the top still allows this arm to close, and then the bottom is close to the edge of the trimmer. Again, super unscientific. Just giving it a try. All right. So I end up with this triangle. So this is why I didn't want to do a 45-degree cut, because then that would make this edge and this edge equal, and I wanted to have this offset scalene triangle where none of the sides were equal. Okay, so I am done with my, well, no, not done with my trimmer. Done with this sheet of paper for the moment. Oh, look, the reverse is that color there that we were thinking about, so that's fun. Okay. So this triangle is going to live in that corner. I think that that looks really fun. I'm going to go ahead and adhere that down before I start to change my mind. Just a little adhesive. And I'm finding the edge, the bottom corner, lining them up. Go. So instead of letting this paper go to waste, I'm going to see if I can get a large square out of it. I'm going to see if I can get a 6 by 6 square. So that looks like it's probably 6 inches here. So I'm going to make a 6-inch cut. Give that a 1/4 turn and make another 6-inch cut. Okay. Got a 6 by 6 square that I can set aside for leftovers. Now with here, let's see if I can get a 4 by 4 square out of it. I think I've got plenty of space here. Let's see. Oh yeah. So I'm going to make a 4-inch cut. Give that a 1/4 turn and give a 4-inch cut. Okay. Then I've got some leftovers too. Again, these are just scraps. See what we can do with them another time. And then we need to get a 8-inch square. So I'm out of stuff for that scraps. I did my best to preserve everything. This now matches, so I can't use that. Let's pull out my other pile. I wonder. I could also just as easily use some of my cardstock here. What about an 8-inch square here? So I'm just pulling out some navy. So I've got a bunch of scraps left over from that. So again, I have made a base 11-inch square with a triangle that goes over top. Then I cut an 8-inch square out of cardstock, a 6-inch square out of designer paper, and a 4-inch square out of designer paper. These squares can all be cardstock, could all be paper. You are going to have them all on the page, so you do want them to be different and not the same kind of cardstock. So just different colors, different shades. You do you and make the choice that is best for you. So I am now done with my trimmer completely. I think I can set that aside. And now I'm going to pull out that cloud frame punch. Now, you have seen me use these whale tail punches, as I call them, to create borders, but they also make frames, meaning they will go all the way around your paper. I did a really fun video with the spider web punch that I think illustrated this perfectly, but when we did it, we were doing large borders. Wouldn't it be fun to make sort of decorative frames or photo mats with this as well? So this is what we're going to do. We're going to do this for each of our squares. Now, when you're doing this, you're going to want the increments to be in 2-inch pieces. So again, we have 8x8, 6x6, 4x4. They also don't need to be squares. So you could do 8x6 or 4x6, so long as the increments are in 2 inches. So when I slide my paper here, I am going to line it up at the silver line that is on the tray of my whale tail. So you guys can see that better here. There's a line in the middle of the design. So I'm going to put my paper at that silver line and give it a punch. And I am going to scoot that over, cover up the silhouette of the punch beneath it, give it a punch. And then one more time. All right. So there on the 8x8, I'm going to punch 3 times and you get these little leftover pieces. That is okay. You actually want those. So I've punched 3 times with my 8x8. I'm going to give it a quarter turn and I'm going to start the edge of the paper at that silver line again and continue. You may see that there is a little square here. Depending on how close you get to that silver line, the square may automatically come detached, or you can just give it a little pull or take out your scissors and cut this square off. So you're going to give this another quarter turn and you're just going to keep punching until you can get all the way around. And there you have it, a really beautiful frame made from our punch. Now I'm going to do this again with my 2 remaining squares with the 4x4 here. I'm sorry. With the 6x6, you're going to get 2 punches in before you rotate. And with the 4x4, you will get 1 punch in before you rotate. All right, I have finished with my cloud punch. I have my 3 frames, and you're just going to overlap these nicely on your page. The largest one starts in that triangular corner you have. Then your medium one comes up a little more diagonal from that. And then your small one will overlap the 2. Isn't that a really beautiful, simple page? So you can use a variety of different photos on here. I've got room for like a 5x5 here. And room for a 3x3 up here. And then here you could do some journaling, or you could put another photo. Depending upon how you wanted to cover that up, you could do a really tiny little photo here. Also would be fun if you put like something a little larger, and then you could just put a cluster. That is how they show it in the sample in the book. So I liked that idea. But this actually got me thinking about another challenge that a customer had issued to me before. So one of my followers, Karen Stevens, I believe she's in Colorado. Is that right, Karen? Many moons ago, she said, hey, I'm interested in vellum, but I don't know what to do with it. Could you do a video on vellum? And I've been thinking, I'm interested in vellum. What can I do to use vellum? So, and not just a card making way is what she had said. So I said, this would be a great opportunity to introduce vellum into my pages. This cloud frame, I think, makes me think of wispy clouds. And the Cue the Blue collection comes with its own vellum pack. So I was like, oh, this would be perfect. And the fun thing about vellum, this has got a bunch of overlapping stuff on it. The fun thing with vellum is that the colors will change as you layer them. So here is a 6x6 square of one of the vellums. Here's another one. When you start flipping them over, so you've got a deep sort of purpley blue on this side, you flip it over and you get a more grayish blue. When you layer them, you start getting fun. So I decided, hey, wouldn't it be cool to try this, but with some vellum clouds instead? So you use this just like you would regular paper. We'll give you guys a quick look-see. It works exactly the same. The one thing I would caution you with is that if you are using a brand new punch, never used it, took it straight out of the box, you're going to want to put it on some test paper first, because CM, they put a little bit of like lubricating oil in their punches when they're being created. And usually if you punch with cardstock or paper, that paper helps absorb those oils, but vellum, not so much. So you can kind of create like a bit of a grease pit, and your papers will get a little slimy if you don't prep your punch before cutting it with vellum. So this is how easy it was to cut with the vellum. Super fun. I will also say that when I was cutting these squares with my 12-inch trimmer, You want to make sure you're giving lots of pressure as you cut. It's going to take a little bit extra elbow grease to cut through the vellum, or maybe a couple more swipes on the actual blade. So that one is really fun. I want to show you a sample I did using the, oh my goodness, this made me realize I never even put the base page on here. What if we did it on white? Make it look super bright. I think I like that. Okay, so there's our base. There's our completed page, doing it as is. Let's look at it with vellum clouds. So I don't know if you guys can see here where they start overlapping. You still get some see-throughness behind the clouds. They create more colors. I also like it because as you put your photos behind this vellum cloud, since there's so much overlapping, you're going to get still peaks of your photos. You're not going to be covering everything completely up. Now, so I used 2 pieces of vellum, the ones I just showed you guys a second ago to make clouds. And then I used just a navy to make this tiny little one, and I'm going to use this part to journal. I still have spots for 2 photos. If you get creative, and you could probably squeeze a couple more photos up here in the corner, or that could be your place to title, or you could title down here. It's up to you guys. Another thing that's different with this sketch is because I already had this gradient going on the paper, sort of in these triangles, I was like, ooh, I don't really want to mess that up. So I did not add a triangle piece behind it in the corner because it was already mimicking that design on its own. Let's see if I can find the original sheet. Nope, I think I've used it. So I can't show you the original, but you'll see what I mean when you open the pack. So I just omitted that corner from the design, but it still looks super cute. Now I hear some of you, everyone else out there going, huh, but I don't have this, I don't have the cloud frame punch, and I'm not sure if I want to get it, but this is a fun design. I recreated this sketch without using any tools other than the straight trimmer. And this is what I got here. So the squares, because they start out larger and we're not cutting them down, are significantly larger, which means we can also put larger photos on here. So I have room for 3 photos, 4x6, 5x5, 3x3. Still a great place to journal here or title, and you could do journaling or titling up there. Really fun. So to compare, the largest photo spot on this page now becomes the medium photo spot on this one. So even just changing the types of tools you use really changes how the layout comes out. Do you guys have a favorite of our 3? So we've got the no tools, we've got the vellum layout, and then we have the as is white patterned layout. Alright guys, so I asked you which your favorite is. I am going to say loud and proud which one my favorite is, and it is the one with the vellum clouds. I don't think that my like camera work and my lighting has done it justice. I love like the overlay and how it changes the colors as the vellum stacks. It's a lot of fun to play with, so I hope that you guys take an opportunity and play with it too. Thank you, Karen, so much for the inspiration and the challenge. I'm not sure if this met your needs, but it's one fun way to use vellum, and I hope that you like it. I have another challenge coming from a different customer. I will make sure to call her out on the day that I filmed that video, but her challenge has got me shaking in my boots. So if you guys have a challenge and you want to see if I can accomplish it or not accomplish it, make sure you guys send me a message. The best way to do that is via Instagram or Facebook. It is the best way to connect with me one-on-one, and you'll get to see what's going on in my life and creative memories because I am posting daily content there. And then if you guys are looking for more inspiration, why why don't you come to one of my classes or events? And I list those on my Scrap with Ash website. You can find that in the links below. And then, of course, if you guys see anything in this video, hello, Cloud Punch, and you guys want to get it, make sure you check out my Creative Memories website. That is where you can get all of your scrapbooking needs met. It's also where you can join my team. And as I mentioned at the beginning of the video, if you want to get your hands on the 110 scrapbooking ideas and sketches or the 110 scrapbooking border ideas and sketches, then if you join my team, I will send you one of these for free. I only have a limited number. I know my new friend Diane just took me up on it, so I have one less than I did before. So if this is something you want, make sure you act quickly, join my team, and I will send this out to you. All right, guys, I think that's it. I feel like I'm forgetting to mention something. I will probably kick myself in the head as soon as I finish recording and being like, oh, duh, you were supposed to say. That happens all the time. All the time. Sometimes I forget what I'm saying, and sometimes I run off at the mouth and say too much. So I feel like there's hardly ever any middle ground. So now I'm starting to veer into that run on the mouth, talk too much. So I am going to go ahead and close this out. I look forward to seeing you guys all again next week. Bye!